Hello everyone, welcome to the English Echo. We're very happy you're here today. Today, we're going to practice English together in a simple and relaxing way. I'm Sam.
And I'm Sophia.
We're happy you're here today.
Let's learn together. So, most people think they need to feel really excited, highly motivated before they start learning English or going to the gym.
Right, they feel like they have to wait for that perfect burst of energy.
Exactly. But today, we want to talk about why waiting for that motivation is, it is actually a trap. We are going to look at how we really achieve our goals.
It really is a trap,
Yeah.
We often see successful people and just assume they wake up feeling amazing and ready to work every single day.
Yeah, like they never get tired.
Right, but that is simply not true. People who achieve their goals, like becoming fluent in a language, they do not feel motivated all the time.
I mean, that is a huge relief to hear. Because when we set a new goal, we usually feel wonderful on the first day.
Oh, absolutely. You
Yeah.
feel a massive rush of positive energy.
Yeah, you go out and buy new running shoes or maybe a beautiful new notebook to study English in, but then a few weeks later, that feeling is just gone. Why does that happen?
Well, the answer has to do with how our brains actually work. That excited feeling you have at the very beginning is motivation. And motivation is a good feeling, but it is actually very similar to a sugar rush.
A sugar rush, so it gives you a quick spike of energy, but leaves you crashing and feeling tired an hour later.
Exactly. Think about eating a large piece of chocolate cake. For a short time, you feel completely awake. You feel like you can run very fast.
Oh yeah, the sugar energy.
Right. But soon, the energy drops, and you actually feel worse than before. Motivation works the exact same way in your mind.
Oh wow.
The brain loves new ideas. A new goal gives you a quick burst of happy chemicals. But those chemicals, they just fade very fast.
I see. So the excitement of starting something new is totally natural, but it is not designed to last forever.
Exactly.
So if we only try to work on our goals when we feel that excitement, we're just going to fail.
Yes, because you will only take action when you feel good. And the truth is, most days, we do not feel perfectly rested or perfectly excited. We are just tired from work.
Yeah, we always have other things on our minds. That reminds me of something I called the perfect weather problem.
The perfect weather problem. What is that?
Well, imagine someone who wants to start running outside. They look out the window and say, it is a little bit windy today, so I will stay inside.
Right. Or they say, oh, it looks like it might rain later, so I will not run.
Exactly. They just keep finding reasons to delay the action. If you wait for the weather to be completely perfect, not too hot, not too cold, no wind, you will never go for a run.
That is such a good comparison.
Right. The perfect day almost never happens.
Yeah.
Waiting for motivation is just like waiting for perfect weather. You will always find an excuse to stay on the sofa.
And honestly, our brains are wired to do exactly that. A long time ago, early humans needed to save their physical energy just to survive.
So they naturally wanted to rest.
Yes. So today, your brain still wants you to save energy. It naturally wants you to sit comfortably and do nothing. To overcome that, we need a special skill.
Okay. And what is that skill?
That skill is consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah.
So that means showing up and doing the work regularly.
Yes. Consistency means you do the work even when the weather is bad. You do it when you are tired.
I see.
If motivation is a tiny spark of light, consistency is the strong fire that keeps burning. Anyone can start a fire when they have a spark, but a consistent person keeps the fire hot long after the spark is gone.
I mean, I see the math there. But working out 3 days a week still feels like a massive struggle when you are exhausted from working all day.
Oh, absolutely.
Knowing that consistency is important does not actually get me out of bed when I have zero energy. How do we, bridge that gap?
That is the biggest hurdle for everyone. We feel tired and we just wait for the energy to arrive before we start. But we have to completely change the order of things. We have to flip the script.
Flip the script.
Yes. The surprising truth is this action creates motivation. Action comes first and motivation comes second.
Wait, really? Action comes first. So if I start doing something, the feeling of motivation will follow me.
Yes. Stop waiting for the good feeling to arrive. You just must move your body or open your book first and let the motivation catch up to you.
I actually use a trip in my own life that proves exactly what you were saying.
Oh, what do you do?
Well, sometimes I finish a long day of work. It is dark outside and I am very tired. My brain is telling me to just go home and watch television. I really do not want to go to the gym.
I completely relate to that feeling. It is so hard to fight that.
Yeah.
How do you overcome the brain's desire to be lazy?
I just make a small deal with myself. I say, okay, you only have to go to the gym for 10 minutes. Just walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes and then you can go home and rest.
That sounds very manageable.
Yeah. So I go, I start moving, but something really interesting happens. Once my legs start moving, my heart rate actually goes up. My body wakes up.
Because the physical movement signals to your brain that it is time to work.
Exactly. My body releases endorphins, those natural energy chemicals. And suddenly, after 10 minutes, I decide to stay.
Because you feel better.
Right. I think, well, I am already here. I feel pretty good now. I will just stay for another 20 minutes. The action of going to the gym created the motivation to stay longer. I did not have that motivation when I was sitting at my desk.
That explains the concept beautifully. The hardest part is always simply starting. Opening your English textbook is hard. Putting on your running shoes is hard.
Yeah, the starting line is the toughest part.
But once you start, the action gives you energy. You know how a small ball of snow gathers more snow and gets faster, it rolls down a hill?
Yeah. As it rolls, it picks up more snow and the ball gets bigger and heavier.
Right. We call that the snowball effect. The same thing happens with your actions. When you take a very small action, you get a tiny result.
Like what?
For example, you study English for just 5 minutes and you finally understand one difficult word.
And because you understand it, you feel a little bit proud of yourself.
Yes, you feel proud. You feel a tiny bit of success. That success gives you the energy to learn a second word. Now the snowball is rolling.
I see.
The small action creates a small result, and that result creates the motivation to keep moving forward.
I love that idea. Action creates the result, and the result creates the motivation. But let me push back a little bit here.
Okay, go ahead.
This all sounds wonderful in theory, but real life gets very complicated. We get busy with our families, we get sick, we have terrible days at work.
That is very true.
It is easy to say be consistent, but what happens when life gets in the way?
You are completely right. Life is unpredictable. To be truly consistent, we have to change how we view our goals. We have to completely remove the option to quit. We have to take away the mental debate.
What do you mean by the mental debate?
Think about how much energy we waste just arguing with ourselves. You sit on the sofa and think, should I study English now or should I do it tomorrow? Maybe I have time after dinner, or maybe I should just rest.
Oh, that is so true. The argument in my head is sometimes more tiring than the actual work.
Exactly. Every time you ask yourself those questions, you drain your brain's energy. So you must remove the option to choose.
How do you do that?
You make a firm rule. You say, I will do this today, no matter what. I will not debate it. When you remove the choice, you save all that mental energy. You just do the task.
That reminds me of a situation from a few years ago. I was participating in a strict 60-day challenge.
Oh, wow. A 60-day challenge.
Yeah. The rule was very simple. You had to exercise for 30 minutes every single day for 60 days. If you missed even one day, you failed the entire challenge.
That is a very serious commitment. 60 days without a break is tough.
It was. And during this challenge, I had to travel for business. It was just a terrible travel day. My flight was delayed. I carried heavy bags through the airport.
I know how exhausting that is.
It was awful. I flew to the city of Denver, went straight to a business event, and then had dinner with clients.
Your brain must have been begging you to sleep.
It really was. Finally, I returned to my hotel room. I looked at the clock, and it was 11:30 at night. I was completely drained. My legs hurt. I just wanted to fall into bed.
But you had your exercise rule.
Right. I realized I had not done my 30-minute exercise for the day.
At 11:30 at night, it must have been so tempting to just say, well, I traveled all day. I have a good excuse. I will skip today.
It was very tempting. But I remembered the rule. I had to remove the option to quit. But the problem was the hotel gym was closed.
Oh, no.
And I had no running shoes with me and no yoga mat. I had nothing but a small hotel room.
So how did you solve the problem without any equipment?
I had to get creative. I went into the hotel bathroom and took all the soft towels. I laid the towels on the hard floor next to the bed to use as a soft mat.
You used the hotel towels?
Yeah. I opened a workout video on my phone. And right there, on top of the towels, at midnight, I exercised for 30 minutes. It was not a perfect workout, but I got it done.
That is a brilliant story. You did not let the bad weather or the late hour stop you. You just found a way.
And the most important part was how I felt afterward. I was physically tired, but mentally I felt incredibly strong. I kept a promise to myself.
That is actually the secret to building self-confidence,
Really? Just keeping promises?
Yes. Many learners ask how they can feel more confident when speaking English. Confidence is not magic. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself.
I like that.
Every time you say you will do something and you actually do it, your brain learns to trust you.
That makes so much sense. If I constantly break small promises to myself, like skipping my study time, my brain learns that my words mean nothing.
Exactly. But if you push through and do it, your brain believes you are a reliable person. You start to see yourself as a disciplined person. You change your identity.
So that is why it is so important to remove the debate. You just show up. Okay, so we know that motivation is a trap. We know we must take action first to get the snowball rolling. And we know we must keep promises to ourselves. But if someone is listening right now and feeling a little overwhelmed, where do they start? Can you give us a practical plan?
Absolutely. The best way to build this trust with yourself is to start very small. I highly recommend trying a 100-day challenge.
A 100-day challenge, how does that work?
It is very simple. You choose just one small thing, and you commit to doing that one thing every single day for the next 100 days.
Wait, just one thing. If I only drink one extra glass of water a day, I will not lose much weight. Or if I only read one page of an English book, I will not become fluent fast. That feels way too slow for someone who wants to completely change their life.
I understand why it feels slow, but trying to change everything at once is exactly why people fail.
How do you mean?
Think about it. If you suddenly decide to exercise for an hour, study English for an hour, stop eating sugar, and wake up at 5 a.m. all on the same day, what happens?
Well, my body and my brain will probably go into shock. I will feel miserable.
Exactly. It is a massive shock to your system. Your brain will panic because it requires too much energy.
Yeah.
It will fight you. And after 3 days, you will quit everything.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely done that before.
Instead, we want to collect small wins safely. Doing one tiny thing every day for 100 days actually changes the structure of your brain. It builds a permanent habit.
So the goal is not to get massive results immediately. The goal is just to prove to yourself that you can be consistent.
Yes. So you pick one small habit. It could be reading in English for just 5 minutes. It could be going for a 10-minute walk after dinner. It must be so small that you can do it even on your worst, most tiring day.
And I assume it helps to keep a record of this.
Very much so. Get a paper calendar and put it on your wall. Every time you complete your one small task, draw a big mark on that day.
That sounds satisfying.
It is. When you see a visual line of success, you will not want to break the chain. You will look at it and say, I have done this for 14 days in a row. I must do it today.
But here is where it gets tricky, Sophia. We are human beings. We are not robots. Sometimes we get sick with a fever. Sometimes there's a family emergency.
Yes, of course.
What if I am doing the challenge and on day 20, life gets crazy and I miss a day? Is the challenge ruined?
That is a very common worry. But no, the challenge is not ruined. Missing one day does not erase all your hard work. It is completely normal.
Oh, that is a relief.
However, there is a very strict rule you must follow to protect your new habit. The rule is, never miss 2 days in a row.
Never miss 2 days in a row. Why is the second day so dangerous?
Because missing one day is just a mistake. It is just life happening. But if you miss 2 days in a row, you are no longer making a mistake. You are starting a new bad habit of skipping your task.
Ah, I see. The first miss is an accident. The second miss is a choice.
Exactly. Think of your habits like an election for president. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become.
A vote. Can you explain how that works?
Sure. Every time you practice your English, you put a vote in the ballot box for bilingual person. Every time you sit on the sofa and watch television instead, you put a vote in the box for lazy person.
Okay, I follow that.
In an election, a candidate does not need 100% of the votes to win. They just need the majority of the votes.
I really love that visual. You do not need a perfect score to win.
Right. You do not need to be perfect. If you miss one day, you simply cast one bad vote. That is okay. You can still win the election.
You just have to make up for it.
Yes, you must wake up the next day and immediately cast a good vote. You must make sure that the vast majority of your votes are for the person you want to be.
That is incredibly freeing. It removes the pressure of having to be perfect every single day. And I think this slow, steady approach leads to something magical. I like to call it the domino effect.
The domino effect,
Yeah.
like the small rectangular game pieces.
Yes. Imagine a long line of dominoes standing up on a table. If you push the very first small domino, It falls over and hits the second one.
And the second one hits the third.
Exactly. Soon, the entire line falls down. Pushing just one small piece causes a huge chain reaction.
How does that apply to choosing just one habit for our 100-day challenge?
Well, imagine your one small habit is just waking up 30 minutes early. That is the first domino. You do not worry about diet or exercise or studying. You just wake up.
Okay, so what happens after a week?
You naturally realize you have 30 quiet minutes with nothing to do.
And because you are awake, you might decide to use that time well.
Exactly. You might think, well, I am awake. I will drink a glass of water. Boom, the second domino falls. Then you think, while I drink this water, I will stretch my legs.
And the third domino falls.
Right. Then you might pick up an English book.
I see. You only focused on waking up. But that one small victory naturally created a chain reaction of other healthy choices.
Yes. When you start building trust with yourself in one area, it naturally spills over into other areas. You do not have to force yourself to change 10 things. You just push the first small domino, and your brain starts to desire more good habits naturally.
That is a wonderful way to look at it. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like perfect weather. But if you focus on pushing just one small domino every day, you become unstoppable.
Unstoppable, I love that word. Let's quickly review the major lessons from today. First, we must remember that waiting for motivation is a trap. It is just a quick feeling that fades away.
Second, remember that action always comes first. Our brains want to be lazy, so we must start moving first. Once the snowball starts rolling, the energy will follow.
Third, we have to redefine consistency. It means removing the mental debate. Keep your promises to yourself, even if it means exercising on bathroom towels in a hotel room at midnight. Building self-confidence is simply doing what you promised you would do.
And finally, start small. Try the 100-day challenge. Pick just one tiny habit, track it on a calendar, and protect it with the golden rule. It is fine to miss one day, but never miss 2 days in a row. Make sure you cast the majority of your votes for the person you want to become.
This has been a really powerful conversation. I know I feel ready to take action right now.
I feel the same way. We truly want our listeners to reach their goals, whether it is learning English, getting healthy, or learning a new skill.
So we want to speak directly to you, the listener, right now. We want you to think carefully. What will your one small habit be for the next 100 days?
Will it be listening to an English audio lesson for 10 minutes every day?
Will it be drinking one large glass of water the moment you wake up?
Or maybe reading one single page of a book?
Whatever it is, choose it right now. Commit to it.
Yes, do not wait for perfect weather. Push the first domino today.
Thank you for listening to the English Echo.
Keep practicing English every day.
Small steps can make a big difference.
See you in the next episode.